you. Yes, marvelous to see you all here. We have a stunning array of canine creations for you tonight. And I know you're all anxious to see what surprises the season has in store for you. So, let's take a look. Our first selection comes to you from those daring designers at Pom Pom Kennels. A selection renowned for high intelligence and haute coiffure. This elegant creature once earned its keep as a water retriever. But as you can see, it's undergone some exquisite refinements over the centuries. The standard poodle comes in a wide variety of coat colors and cuts, so easy to accessorize. Canis familiaris our audience. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, yes. And now, for the hardier among you, an outdoorsy original for begging 'em in the bush. Flowing lines and soft textures, a sporting variety par excellence. This fine-tuned bird dog has an eye for the fowl, guaranteed to point you to your prey. Magnificent creature, isn't it? Of course, the cut of the cloth should suit the occasion. And our next offering is sturdy proof. In the backyard or on the beat, this muscular creature will earn you the respect of even the toughest customers. Our latest collection of designer originals available from a kennel near you.
Breeders will design, so to speak, the dog to win in this end of the dog show business. And certainly we're designing the dog so that it has a specific look to win in the show ring. So we're more or less artificially selecting one dog to go with another one to produce this effect. We're having complete control of it instead of it being done naturally.
Nature is a breeder in that it selects for. The only thing, there are different forces that would be selecting for certain characteristics in nature, as opposed to forces that is characteristics that a breeder, that a human being would breed for. We as humans will select certain features and say that's what we want. We want a furry coat, let's say, in a dog, or we want tall dogs, or we want dogs that bark. So we can select for any of these features, whereas in nature, only those features would be selected for that are adaptive. That is, features that would allow the animal to live in its environment, to cope with its environment.
Dog breeders will breed for specific purposes. They'll put two dogs together and breed them for any number of means to an end, whether it be for a show dog purpose or a hunting dog purposes or guard dog, which one will make the more aggressive, assertive dogs, etc. One breed that's been specifically bred for a certain function is the Whippet. The Whippet breeders are always breeding that particular breed for speed, essentially.
And now it gives us enormous pleasure to present to you our featured design. A decorative addition to your parlor with a sleekness of line unparalleled in the world of dogdom. Ladies and gentlemen, the Whippet! graceful, elegant poetry in motion, the Whippet was fashioned a little more than a century ago, more for function than form. Ladies, gentlemen, the speediest sprinter in the canine world. It's said that the Speedy Whippet was originally designed for, shall we say, acquiring a tasty morsel of wild game on crown lands. Compact yet quick, the perfect hunting companion for poor miners poaching on royal grounds. Nowadays, the Whippet is known as the poor man's racehorse, and it's still bred for its running ability. Not so for many of today's breeds. Form has replaced function for many of our most prized pooches.
In a lot of the sporting breeds, a lot of the things that you see in the breeds now aren't related at all to the actual function that they were originally bred for. For example, the American Cocker Spaniel was bred as a sporting breed of dog, and now there's an extremely profuse coat on the dog, and which is very difficult to look after, certainly something that not your everyday hunter is going to take time to comb the dog out every day, but it's aesthetically very pleasing to the eye. The toy breeds really have served very little practical function over the years other than being a companion, which of course is very important, but they don't have any working, herding, hunting, guard dog capabilities, etc., not in the practical sense. They are just strictly bred for small lapdog companions for people. Sometimes when breeders are developing a certain breed of dog, they're looking for a certain look, and they'll develop a breed that's maybe very eye-appealing in a lot of ways, but also down the road develop certain functional problems. The Basset Hounds or the Dachshunds, of course, have been bred for this long body on very short legs, and this is something that's really emphasized in the breed, but can cause a lot of back problems and a lot of arthritic problems in the legs because they're small legs to hold up a large body.
If you look at the different breeds of dogs, you'd find it difficult to realize that, in fact, they all have a common ancestry. The archaeological evidence seems to indicate that the dogs originated some 12,000 years ago from the Asian wolves. Of all the wild canids, the wolf was really the only one that was suitable for domestication. And the reason for that is that it had a social structure that allowed it to become domesticated.
Dogs will be dogs. Well, what a variety of exquisite creations. Don't you agree? Whether it's a pooch to match your handbag or a brute to nab a burglar, we've seen them all paraded here this evening. And yet, none of our stunning collection of domesticated canines would have been possible without that master, designer, Mother Nature. Tonight, we'd like to pay a very special tribute to Mother Nature by presenting you with one of her finest canine creations. Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, the Lord of the Northwood, Canis lupus, the Timber Wolf! If you'll just direct your attention to the monitors. Clearly,
this noble beast bears a remarkable similarity to its cousin, the dog. In fact, many dog breeds might easily be mistaken for their wild relatives. But the strongest link between nature's model and man's best friend may not be physical, but behavioral. The wolf is accustomed to submitting to a leader, which helps explain why dogs make such obedient pets.
Behavior of wolves is that they are social animals, and therefore and a social animal also has a hierarchical structure in that you have alpha wolves that are sort of the top dogs, then you have others that are lesser in dominance. This particular feature was important in the domestication of the dog, because if you look at dogs, they basically respond to their master. So if you own a dog, you, as the master, would become, or replace, in a sense, the alpha animal in a pack. And that allowed the wolf to become domesticated, because it was able to adjust itself to the new setting, where its behavioral traits made it possible to become part of human society, in a sense.
Good boy.
Species evolve over long periods of time. And when we speak in terms of long periods, we're talking about millennia to establish a species, to develop the differences that are great enough so that we can look at one animal and say, now that's a swift fox, that's a species, and over here we have a wolf, and that's a different species.
Okay, let's take them around together, please.
Breeders can, by specifically aiming for a certain purpose, can change the actual look, physical appearance, etc. of a breed in a very short period of time by the selection process. The soft-coated Wheaten Terrier is a good example of how a breed can change very rapidly in the looks due to what the breeders are doing with the breed. Years ago in Ireland, the dog served a very functional purpose in that it was a herding and working dog, and it had a very flat-laying, coarser-type coat that would shed the burrs and the brambles for the Irish farmer, so he didn't have to worry about grooming the dog. Now, since the breed has come to North America, which was only 35 or 40 years ago, this dog has since developed a very abundant and soft coat that takes a lot of grooming, but is far more eye-appealing to the general public.
All species are continually evolving, and that certainly means that the wild canids will as well. The future of wild canids around the world is really dependent on man's relationship with the environment.
Oh, because of the fact that we've seen so many different breeds developed over a very short period of time, certainly you can see that probably in the future we'll see many more breeds. This is what's happened over hundreds of years, and this is what's going to continue to happen over the next few hundred years, is people will see a certain combination of dogs that they think will serve a better specific purpose for one reason or the other, and will start to develop that breed and eventually have it recognized as a breed in itself.
Is this on? Can you hear me? Master of Ceremonies isn't quite himself right now. I'm sure it's just a passing thing. He's asked me to thank you on his behalf and to invite you all back to take a look at the latest concoctions from the feline world. Kitty Creations, right here on this stage.